Hey everyone, we're here with Felicia and Josh from Year of October. Great fucking band out of Nash Vegas, as we call it, that performed with Ulm and StormToker, but like a week ago?
Yeah, it was StormToker and
Joe Grudge.
Yeah, Joe Grudge.
Oh,
It was
Joe
some of
Grudge.
the members
Gosh.
of Ohm. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for that, because I was like that Ulm doesn't seem right. But Josh and Nate, so I was like, fucking yeah. Thank you for the correction. I'm a
Yeah.
dumbass.
Super fun show.
It really was. You all were I had no idea who you all were, and your set blew me away.
Thank you.
Of course, the part that caught me was this song was written out of the Dark Tower series from Stephen King, and I think the whole fucking crowd was like looking around, and I'm like, that's a great series. So I fucking love that.
Yeah, it's our favorite.
Yeah, our album, not our newest album, but the one that came out in 2020, which is called Wastelands. Is we have two songs that are the title tracks. It's like part one and part two, and it's Wastelands, and those are big references as well.
Oh yeah.
We've had Stephen King references all the way back into to Trouble Comes, so we've got them on every record.
Hell yeah. That, I mean, I was telling Felicia, like Stephen King for me growing up, that was who I read. And to me, like the Dark Tower series for his work is like over and above anything else he's done, hands down.
Yeah, it's the best. My favorite Stephen King book is probably Salem's Lot, but like when Father Callahan comes into the Dark Tower, oh, it's just everything, how he spreads it all throughout all of his books is just beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. I was the same way though. I grew up reading Stephen King. I probably started way too young, but that was great. I think I read my first one when I was like 11. I would sleep with the light on, and because it freaked me out. But it was great though. Like, my parents were cool and didn't care. So it was great.
I think I was pretty close to that age also. I was always super like active. So when I was at home, it was like, I need something to stay occupied. So I don't remember who got me my first Stephen King book, but my grandmother, who has passed away in 2018, she was my introduction to the Dark Tower series. She bought me like the first 3 or 4 books. It was like, here.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Like, thanks, Granny.
What a cool grandma for sure.
Yeah, well, she needed to make up for all the times she fucking gave me the Switch. So So how did you all like meet and come to do Year of October?
We actually met when we were in college at the University of Kentucky, so just a little hop over from you in Louisville.
But yeah, we were in Lexington.
Yeah, we were in Lexington and met in college. We're actually married, so we started dating and dated for like a year before we started writing music together. And then we've been writing ever since.
That's cool. Like, so you guys don't seem like the tortured artist type, you know what I mean? Like my thing is always, you've always been great with me, and of course it was this big, so I don't know how fucked up your life really is.
Yeah, I mean, our lives aren't that bad.
No, we're not.
We wax and wane on the torture of our brains.
It works well with us being in the band for so long. So we've had a lot of members throughout the years, but us having like that nucleus of two. So when one of us gets down or doesn't, like it was like, what are we doing, kind of thing. The other one can pick us up, and because I have lots of friends, and they're in a band of 5 people, but they might be, pulling the sleigh the whole time, pretty much single-handedly, and it's been nice to have 2 of us, like with, the brunt of the stuff that nobody wants to do, like the booking and the all the stuff behind the scenes.
All the business, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because we started the band in 2010, so we've been going 15 years.
15 years.
Holy shit.
Full teenager.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy.
Can almost drive.
Yeah.
We counted the other day people who've played with us, and not permanent members necessarily, but even just people who filled in for a show or two, and it was like 38. people. So we've had quite a few now since 2019. It's just been us and James,
our drummer. Yeah,
phenomenal and super easy for us to write with and to tour with. So it's been great. But before then, it was some rough sailing every now and then.
Yeah, that like, especially with you two being married and having that relationship, I'm sure that other person or other people is, it's hard to find that right fit, because it's one thing when there's just one of you you've got to find a fit for, but like someone that matches your, your energy and your skill, and that, for lack of a better term, is part of that throuple,
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
We had a lot of great people play with us, but then sometimes you start writing with someone and you're like, they don't see this the same way I do, or but like when we got James in the band, like our first practice ever, we ran through the set that we were going to play, and he nailed it, and we were like, I think we're good. Let's you want to write some music? I think the first practice we ever had with him, we wrote 2 songs. So like we're finished 2. It was probably 2 that me and Felicia had worked on.
And we were like, we just need someone.
We need that third person to put their stamp on it, and it's been like that ever since. Like when we get together to practice, like we work on new stuff generally. So that's exciting for us, because for the longest time, I feel like we were running the same songs over and over for people, and it's been kind of beautiful not to have to do that.
Yeah, we're not AC/DC. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool though. So how, like with touring, how does that, I mean, I know you guys do you typically do like weekend runs, or what's that look like?
It kind of depends. We do a lot of weekenders, but this is what Josh and I do full time. James, our drummer, has a job, so we try to be on the road as much as possible. I've got like a week and a half planned going through the Midwest and end of April. Yeah. And so like we do those probably 3 or 4 times a year, where they're a little longer runs and then just interspersed with the shorter things throughout.
And then, we do, aside from full band shows, me and Felicia also do like duo sets where we kind of strip it down. And it's a fun experience because we play the same songs, but we have to figure out new ways to do them, or we're not as loud. And, so it's kind of like a whole other band, but it's the same band, So that's a fun challenge as well. We pretty much like every weekend, I think right now, every weekend through like August, we have at least something, and a lot of weeks booked as well. So we stay very busy.
That's good. So like with you guys doing the strip down set, do you find that when you like work to make them acoustic or whatever, that it opens up like something that may have been missing in a song you're working? Like, oh, that could be really cool.
That's a good point. That's definitely happened before, where we might, hey, this is a cool bridge we could go to, and you hear it differently when you can hear the words very clearly.
Sometimes, a lot of times when we play duo sets, it's like longer sets at wineries or breweries or something. And so when it's the 2 of us, we'll be like, okay, maybe we'll elongate the song by adding another verse at the end. And sometimes we're like, oh, that really like makes the song complete. We maybe need to add the other verse in with the full band. And it's kind of cool how it has made us rework and review our songs that we wouldn't have in another way.
Yeah, we always say that our band is very adaptable because we've got about 60 songs. So like, we don't want to ever compromise what we're doing is the key thing. And but at the same time, it's like, oh, okay, we're playing this place. We might not need to play the heaviest song we have. Let's play some of our more soulful older stuff. So we can fit a lot of different categories and sets. Like I think on the week that you saw us,
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, when we played, that was the Saturday show, which we were joking. We said it was like our goal line set with all the big boys, because we were playing with metal bands.
But the start of that week, we played a radio show, which is typically like a bluegrass radio show, and they asked us to play it. So we were like, okay, this is gonna be like the lightest we ever play. James still played drums, but it was funny because we started with like the very lightest we ever play, and then we went to like the heaviest, like, yes, this is what we want to do. And it was just a funny way to encompass that tour.
Yeah, and it was funny when we were playing the radio show, we were probably playing like 30% volume, like we were really dialing it back. And we were like, during sound check, we were like, hey, to the sound guy, we're going to try like at this volume, one of our heavier songs, like one of the songs we played Saturday. And the girl who was like running the show, like ran out and was like, you have to stop. And there was no one here.
Too loud.
So it was kind of, and I was like, hey, this is why we tried this and we didn't do it live because we didn't want to blow people out. But yeah, it was a really fun tour. And then those nights we played 4-hour sets at a place at Prez Pub in Knoxville. So those sets we usually start with the lighter stuff, and by the end of the night, we're heavy and doing all the rocking stuff. But we kind of feel that.
But at that point, people are got a good buzz, and they're like, I'm ready for something a little heavier. Let's do something.
Yeah,
that's generally how those sets go, and they're a lot of fun. But it's definitely interesting because it's like those sets that we're on stage. Sometimes you can't tell how people are responding and stuff. So it's always an adventure, I'll say.
Oh yeah, I imagine so. Especially doing so many different things for you guys. Bluegrass radio show to essentially a metal show. Like, holy shit! Like, if you want to run the gamut, that like there it is.
And the Bluegrass radio show was interesting because like we did get to play some of our lighter stuff, but I could tell that we're definitely not what they normally have on there because they have like a built-in crowd that comes and watches, and they're like usually older people, and we played some more psychedelic kind of stuff that was still pretty lower volume, but like people seem to really like it, so it was cool. I could tell it wasn't what they normally have on there.
Oh, for sure. Well, I know at Planet of the Tapes, that like everyone there were like, holy shit. Like, yeah.
And when we play like 45-minute sets, that's more like our normal speed for sure.
That was a fun night because I felt like it was like almost everyone there was new people to us, and so it felt really good to have the crowd respond in that way because you never know like when you're in a group of people that like have never seen you, have never heard your music, and it's always kind of a toss-up, and so it's always very, very good when it happens that well.
Well, the funny thing is the dude who fell on the stage, that's I had a mailman, like same guy every day, and he was kind of a fill-in while they were getting another guy on our route. And we chatted a little bit, and I'm like, hey dude, you want, like, he actually called me early in the day, and I was like, hey, do you want to go to a show tonight? Like, we don't hang out, I don't really know you, but come on out. He was like, yeah dude. He looked like he had such a good time.
He had a blast. That was awesome. Absolutely. He was getting it.
He like fell and he looks at me. He's like, "Oh shit!" And I'm like, "All right, dude, just hold on. It'll be all right." Whatever. That was so good. So you guys also have your label.
Yeah.
How fucking cool is that?
What was that?
I said, how fucking cool is that?
Thank you. Yeah.
It's a good time.
We started that a few years ago. We've been in the Nashville local scene for so long. We knew all these local and semi-local bands, and we had started putting out our music on vinyl back in 2014, and we would talk to other bands and just try to encourage them to do it. And we were like, man, something we've always wanted to do is put out music that we love. So like with starting that label, I'm a big fan of, like, I'm actually drinking the cup right now, the Daptone records, like the soul records out of New York. And they started just by putting out like 45s of people that they liked. And we just were like, a couple of years ago, we were just like, screw it. We're going to start doing this. So I think aside from the local stuff, King Giz allows people to bootleg their stuff. So we've done 245s of theirs. And it's just been exciting. I think we've done, I think it's 8 releases that aren't Year of October through it. So I think we've done 2 LPs and 6 45s. I think one of those 45s is including a Year of October. Yeah. But either way, we've done those releases, and it's been very rewarding and challenging. And we really like vinyl, and it's something we wanted to put out stuff that we dig, and we wanted people to hear it. So.
Yeah, there's so much good music in Nashville, in bands that we play with outside of Nashville, local bands that don't have a big audience that I think deserve a bigger audience. And so I was like, if we can help in the smallest way to get them maybe a little bit of people who like us listening to music that we love, then I want to help do that. So
I'm
that's
like, I'm 100% on board with that. Like I feel the same way. I've got a partner. We've got a label also. It's the same thing. Like, oh, that band's really cool. Like, you want to put something out with them? Hell yeah. Like if they're down, let's do it. So, like we're not a major label. We're not trying to make $1 million. So like every deal is very artist friendly, right? Like
Yep.
we just want to make a little bit so we can eventually release more. You guys take the majority. And they're like, really? Like, yeah, who the fuck are we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very, very similar to what we do as well. And it's been really cool. Like it's opened a lot of doors with other local bands, even just playing shows with them. Even if we can't do releases, they're like, hey, like, how do they'll reach out and be like, hey, how do you do this? Pressing or whatever. So it's been cool to just even like be able to help people that I like their music and I like them as people. It's been very fun and challenging at times.
Yeah.
Because it's like, all right, how do we do this?
Yeah, but the beautiful thing is like I know like vinyl junkie, right? You're like that has to have a really cool like vinyl, not just a I could barely afford this. Like let's make that fucking nice, go all out. And that's it's rewarding, but man, it sucks for the pocket because you're like everyone I take like takes a little bit off that bottom line. Like
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I know. So you guys also, how often do you do the liquid stuff?
We do it with every release. So yeah,
We work with Plastic Cat, which is Plastic Cat Deviations. Felicia's from Western Kentucky, and his name's Matt, but his company is Plastic Cat, and he's awesome. It's kind of funny. We actually kind of lucked into it with him because we were friends with him before he started doing it, and for our first liquid filled release, which I think was like 2021 maybe, because we didn't do it on our 2020 release because that's just black vinyl. But he hit us up and was like, "Yo, let's do a release with a 45 and do liquid." And he actually had to convince us to do it.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
We were like, I don't think anybody's gonna spend $50 on a 45 of our music, and then yeah, they did very well. So we've since then, and our working relationship with him is awesome, and he's also a good friend. He comes out to shows when we play in the area. Yeah, he's like the Willy Wonka of vinyl stuff, man. He's wild.
I'm gonna have to check that out because I really like the when they're the liquid filled, and we were talking at the show about Savage Masters got like or had a sand filled one and some other shit.
Oh yeah,
like it's super.
Probably with Romulus, right?
Romanus.
I mean, yeah, I say it wrong all the time. Probably he does all the sand filled. He did an Alice in Chains one with flies in it.
I that's the one I want. Like
I don't like dead flies in my house. I don't want it in the record.
I don't give a shit. It's in the record. I don't give a fuck.
My thought, I'm weird. I always think like, what if it opens up?
They're dead. I don't give a shit. I don't care.
I'm kidding.
I know. I had a buddy called me a couple weeks ago, and he's like, "Hey, he really loves Kubla Khan." And he's like, "Dude," he's like, they're putting out this fucking record that's got ants in it," and I'm like, "Oh, I gotta buy that." I'm like, "How much was it?" Because like we know what goes into it. He goes,
Yeah.
$15. I'm like, that doesn't seem right, dude. He's like, "No, dude, I'm telling you, I'm watching the videos. It's fucking live. So I'm literally driving down the road. Don't do that at home, kids." And I order it because I'm like, fuck, it's $15. That thing's gonna be gone.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I get stopped and I look and it's like picture dust. I'm like, that's not in the record.
Oh, okay. That makes way more sense out of being $50.
The liquids?
Yeah, I've got a fairy ring liquid. I don't have any of yours.
No, that's cool. I was just saying it's really neat to see them because of the you see like the seal. They do like the inner seal and outer seal, and most questions we get about them, people are like, do they spin normally or do they play normally? I'm always like, yeah, they play They sound exactly
same.
the same. It's literally two clear records. Yeah.
I have no idea. Like someone asked me that, and I don't know. Like I have the record, another version that I play.
Right. We test
That's
them
what
a lot.
most people do, but I was like, we've tested a couple of them just so we know for sure. They're like, what if the weight's off? And I'm like, no, it isn't. It's not
usually
enough.
like displaced enough where it doesn't make a difference. But yeah, like Matt's always like meticulous, like with it, because he tests out all his stuff, and he's just, I don't know, he's the best. He's very easy to work with, and he's awesome. His work is really cool.
Hell yeah! So I seriously have to look into it because obviously it's cool as fuck, right? We're like geeking out over it right now. Who typically does your like normal pressing stuff?
We go through Gotta Groove Records out of Cleveland, Ohio, and they're great. We've gone with them for every Watch It Burn release.
Yeah, every Watch It since Keep on Fighting. So yeah, we go through them. They have a sub plant called Wax Mage Records, and they do, with each order they'll do 25 custom Wax Mages, and those are like crazy too. Those, one of a kind. And then the reason we know about Gotta Groove too is because when we did the 45 release with Plastic Cat, he went through them and was explaining to us the golden egg that is, Wax Mage.
There's a record store here called Amplified, and she's got a bunch of like Wax Mage stuff all over her walls, and it's like to look at them is cool as fuck.
Yeah, oh yeah,
they're so cool. That's why I like getting them. Just so it's like opening a present. Every time we get like a new order of vinyl, I'm like, what do they look like this time? And it's so exciting.
Yeah, the latest one we did, the King Giz 45 release that we just did in February, they were wild because it's 45. But I was talking to the Wax Mage owner, whose name's Heath, and he also super cool. He'll give you, if you go up, he'll give you a tour of the place, and it's like awesome seeing how they do stuff. But I was texting him or messaging him, and I was like, yeah, go wild with the Giz records, whatever you want, because I always let them choose what they want. And he did coin flips, what they're called. So each side of the 45 is completely different. And it's, honestly, I don't know how they did it. But he was like, yeah, we can go even crazier with the 45s, because I guess it's less material. And so it's kind of cool is all 25 of the Giz mages are completely different coin flips. So everybody has one,
one of one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was telling Felicia, I was like, how do we even take the pictures to sell these? Because each one's completely different. So we had to put in the description. But I think everybody was thrilled with them. So they look amazing. Yeah. Some of them are like semi-transparent. Some of them have like glitter in them. Some of them, I'll send you a picture. Yeah. Some of them, like the previous, one of the other 45s we did, all of them, which we didn't know this until we shipped it to them, and they were like, dude, these glow in the dark. They have like different, secrets and stuff. So it's always really neat seeing what they come up with.
That's super fucking cool. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it is so different from, like the 80s and 90s where you just have like your single color, like.
Right.
Yeah, I think that when we did the liquid filled for the first time, it like blew my mom's mind. I sent her the video and she was showing everyone. She was like, "This is so crazy." She's like, "It's like a lava lamp."
Yeah, it fucking is too.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, I love it. So, what do you guys have planned? Like crazy shit coming out next?
We're
recording New Year of October stuff, so. It's on the horizon. It's close to being done.
Yeah, we've got 11 new songs. It'll be a new LP. Hoping to have it out probably this October, I think is the plan.
Fingers crossed.
When you put October in your name, most of your releases come out. I think our only non-October release was Keep on Fighting. So I think that was a May release.
Oh shit.
But yeah, so we're working on that. I actually was mixing on it last night, and I've been doing a lot of guitars and pretty much have everything tracked other than vocals. So we'll finalize the tracking over the next week, hopefully, and then we still have to get artwork and all that stuff worked out. So it's still
early
a ways
stages,
away, but the show we played the other night, I think we played four new tracks off of that. So. So you heard a decent chunk of it.
Well, I'm sure that I did. Everything was new to me.
Probably, yeah. I think we played all Keep on Fighting, and that we might have played one off of Wastelands. So I'd have to check the set list, but it is completely out of my mind right now. Yeah, the new album, I'm really excited about it. We don't have a name for it yet either. So
That was going to be my next question. Like, what's the name?
well, it's kind of funny. Like sometimes, actually, I think the last two albums we've gotten the artwork first and then come up with the name. So
yeah, literally, we were about to send Wastelands off, and I was still going back and forth between two names for the album. I was like, which one feels right? And it was between Wastelands and Venom. And so I kept changing the name on the artwork, and I was like, which one is it? Which one is it? I think we
made the right choice.
I
like Venom too. Right, I think Wastelands is a good encompassing.
But it was like down to the wire sending it off to get pressed.
For sure. It was like while we were ordering vinyl. So
that's funny, but it's funny with artists, right? When I write, it's what feels right. How is it going to flow? That's where we don't name them. They fucking name themselves. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Keep on Fighting definitely named itself. We got the artwork first, but I think once we saw the artwork, it was like a no-brainer. That felt, and as I say, we Keep on Fighting. At the time when we wrote it, it was mid-pandemic, and we're stuck at home, and it felt like a band. That song in particular felt like the band mantra. It was like, keep on going, because we would get together even though we weren't playing shows. We would do live streams like once a week and practicing 2 or 3 times because we weren't doing anything. So. Oh,
that's what we just had a girl come in. Here's one of our babies. She just walked in.
This is Sky.
Hi, Sky.
Or her full name is Sky Blue Sky, the album by Wilco.
Okay.
Typical cat name, right?
Mine's Sophia.
Nice.
Yeah,
we have Sky and Moneypenny.
All right. So every time we get an animal, to me, it's the same thing as like writing a song, an album. Like, I don't name them, right? Like they already have a name. We just have to figure out what it is. So my wife with when we got our last dog, Penny Lane, she was like, you are not naming this animal. No fucking way. We are going to name this animal. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, do what you're going to do. And we're like sitting in the living room, and Penny's running around. Like, at the time, she was a rescue. Her name was Beasley. She didn't respond to Beasley at all. Yeah. So, she's just like, do. And Jen, my wife, is like, oh, and she's just starting yelling names. And I look at her and I go, what about Penny? And she fucking stopped dead in her tracks and looked at me. She goes, you son of a bitch.
That's hilarious.
Our Penny was named Pringle when we adopted her. And I was like, you are not a Pringle.
Right.
And she wasn't. She is most definitely a Penny.
Like the minute she walked in our house when we adopted her, she was like, this is mine and this is mine. Because we have other cats, and she's just claiming toys and spots to sleep, and she's hilarious. That's definitely her personality. But
that's so like all 3 dogs, they're all pit bulls, and then Sophia. And she spends most of her time in the basement, but she'll come up and the dogs will like look at her and she'll just fuck with them, and they'll scatter.
Yep.
Like it's Sophia's house.
The cats rule everything.
Oh, yeah.
Cats rule everything around me. No, I'm just bad dad jokes. I'm so old. Out of all your songs that you guys play, is there a song that you all like playing more than the others?
That's hard. I feel like there are several. The one that I've loved playing for the longest is Winter, which is like a slower 6/8 song, and I love that one. but of newer songs, maybe Payback in Spades for me.
That's your favorite.
It's just fun.
That's one we open with a lot. I think we definitely opened the Louisville show with it, and that's a fun one, and it's a good like kickoff kind of, you know, track. Set a tone, and it kicks off the album Keep on Fighting too. But yeah, for me, I think my favorite's probably Thistle, which is also on Keep on Fighting. That one, I feel like it's definitely a more challenging guitar part for me, and it's a lot of fun. But as we've played it live, it's cool how it's kind of evolved a little bit, you know, past the recording. And because I listen to the recording now, it's a little different than how we play it. But I think the way we play it live, it's fun because it's kind of it's definitely it has like a rocking kind of midsection, but I think the rest of it's kind of more, you know, a little psychedelic and kind of has like almost like a trance like vibe to it. And I like playing that one though because like, you know, I like putting it, you know, third or fourth in the set, and you know, you set a tone with some heavy stuff and then you hit them with, you know, this other kind of vibe, which almost and James playing almost has like a hip hop beat underneath it. And I like seeing people's head bobs and stuff, and then you hit, you know, like with a
then it hits on the chorus.
It's, you know, hit on a chorus or like a loud part, and it takes people by surprise. So that one's always fun. I think this past tour when we were playing in Johnson City, when we played it, I heard some people really get into it, and it really made my night for sure. So that's probably my favorite. That's probably my favorite song on that album too.
Hell yeah. You know, I don't even know. I've listened to Keep on Fighting like 3 or 4 times since I've seen you. I listened to fucking Wastelands a couple of times. Like, I'm like, holy fuck. Like, honestly, you guys like absolutely crushed that show. And I'm like a fucking fan. Like,
well, thank you. We really appreciate you saying that.
I really think you guys gained quite a few fans that night because, you know, everyone's super, super impressed with you all.
That's awesome.
It felt great, and it was really nice to meet everybody. And
also that place, Planet of the Tapes, amazing. It was our first time there, and it was awesome.
We were in our hotel room after one of our shows in Knoxville, and we got the email from them, and they were like, "Hey, we can play anything behind you while you're playing." And I was like, "Empire Strikes Back," the Hoth scene, because like that's like top 5 favorite movies for me, and I was like, it's always been a dream of mine to do that. So when we started playing, I think our first song, I turned around and I see the speeders, you know, and I might have had a tear.
Yeah, like that's what's really cool about that venue is, you know, that video screen in the back. Often you see the video screen, but they just put like logo up there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that was one of the options, and I was like,
we were like, no.
I want Empire.
We need Star Wars.
I was already talking to Felicia on the way home. I was like, well, what are we gonna play next time?
Ooh, I thought we could do The Shining when the blood comes out of the elevator.
That would be sick. Yeah.
Maybe that would be our next time.
The Shining would be good. I think, you know, Raiders of the Lost Ark, like that opening sequence is, you know, awesome. There's so many good choices. I thought Joe Grudge playing with Jaws was super sick.
Yeah, those dudes. And when Ulm plays, they typically have some like psychedelic shit going, but then they've got like the live camera guy that's getting shit.
Oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool. We've played a few shows where they do like the color oils and then project it, and those are cool to do.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, technology is fucking wild.
I know, but after that set the other night, though, I'm like, do I need to get a projector and always play it?
I think you do. You know, honestly, you mentioned The Shining, and I can just see like the axe in the door through like Discordia. Like,
yeah, exactly.
What the fuck? Right. So good.
But yeah, that show was so great. It was such a fun show, and I think that our main thing when we play is we play music that we love and we have a good time doing it, and it's so great when there are people that get that and have a good time while we're having a good time. So it's great.
Yeah, the energy the whole night just felt awesome, and it was super cool to meet everybody, and everybody who worked there was super nice and awesome, and I mean we couldn't ask for a better show. So
yeah, and StormToker, love those dudes.
Oh yeah, they're amazing.
They're awesome.
like the nicest guys in the world,
Yeah.
and you'd never guessed it. It's like, I mean, the only way I know to describe it is like a doom ska, like weird, because the
Yeah.
horn, I'm like, I could totally be skanking to this shit. What's going on?
Oh yeah. No, they're awesome.
They're so good.
We've played with them in Lexington before, and they're just so nice, and yeah, the music's
Yeah,
great.
the nicest dudes.
Yeah.
And then they
Yeah.
just get up there and are just like so hard.
Felicia does on the side. We do some merch for bands too, and I think with them you did.
I did some hats and some
hats and
koozies.
koozies.
Yeah,
So we ended up like after the show, like a couple weeks later, we ended up meeting up with them and getting them some merch and stuff. But they're just such nice dudes, and we always love playing with them, and we love hearing them. So
Yeah.
it's always
Yeah, I think everyone that sees them goes, "Oh, I wasn't expecting that." Like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
The energy, plus you get Dante singing on the fucking drums, like,
oh yeah.
That always impresses me when someone on drums is singing.
After their set, I was talking to him. I was like, man, because he was pretty sweaty, and I was like, how are you not gassed? And he goes, I am.
yeah, I'm like,
they're working.
I know there's not many drummers that sing out there. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Right.
And Don Henley is, I guess.
Yeah, I was trying to think of his. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it's not Glenn Fry. He plays guitar. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then there's Braun Daler from Mastodon.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple more. I mean, neither. Yeah, I mean, four extremities alone is like one thing, but to throw the voice on top of that, you're like, what is like good for you? Like, holy shit. Yeah. Yeah. How do you remember that stuff too?
Right. It's got to be ingrained in there.
So, what bands are you guys listening to right now that you think other people should listen to?
Good question. I've been on a big All Them Witches kick for a long time. That's probably my
for like 6 years.
Yeah, no, probably longer than that even. I think since like 2016, probably. But that's probably my favorite right now. And then I think like
I've been obsessed with Idols for like the last 2 years, but I feel like everybody is hopping on that train right now. But they're so good.
Yeah, Idols is
So
awesome.
good.
And then a lot of Daptone stuff. I know that the Budos band basically just said that they're putting out a new album. Which I don't know if you listen to the Budos band, but that's like one of my favorites.
I have not I didn't have a good experience with them. So that's
I gotcha. Like a good experience personally, or
correct. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. That's a bummer.
Yeah. Well, like when drugs and alcohol are involved, it tends to not always be the best scenario. And I was sober, but
I gotcha. Well, I'm trying to think of some. I mean, there's definitely a lot of good stuff. I was gonna say locally in Nashville, a band that we really love that has we put out a 45 of theirs, and they just put out a new album last year. They got another new album coming out this year. They're called The Dangerous Method, and actually, it's a band that I've recorded in my studio multiple times, and but they're phenomenal. And their last album is really good. And yeah, they're a great band live, and they're getting out more and touring. So I definitely recommend checking them out. They're kind of more like it's like these alternative, but then they kind of have like almost like a Neil Young songwriter aspect, but they're loud as hell live. Like they get rocking, and it's a really good time. And then our buddies, another band, local band, Echo Pilot, just put out a new album, and they're really great people. We just went to their album release like 2 weeks ago, maybe, and it was a good time. They just put it out on vinyl too. They did it on their own, but it's a really good album. What about you? Anybody else you're listening to?
It's hard. Yeah. I don't know. I recently have become obsessed with the Frou Frou record, and like it is out of print, so I had to buy it from Germany. But I love it. I mean, everybody should listen to it, but it's not like a band that's touring right now. I love that album. Yeah.
Maybe license it and put it out.
I know. I'll just reach out to
Yeah.
MK.
Oh, that'd be yeah.
Hello, can I press this on vinyl? Please.
I don't
I'm
have
gonna.
$1,000 you seek, but do you take IOUs?
It's better than money.
Yeah, it's better than money. Those are IOUs.
Whoa, fuck! What movie is that from? Because I literally, that's
Yeah, and they
it's
open up
like all the IOUs.
bucks or something, and the guy's like, "What? Where's all the money?" And he goes, "That's better than money. Those are IOUs." We
saw
say
that,
that all the time.
dude. That clip the other day was so fucking hilarious. I saw that clip the other day, is what I've meant to say, and I crack up because like, dude, Jim Carrey was such like just a fucking character, like Fire Marshal Bill, dude. Shit, let me show you something.
When he's the lifeguard at the hot tub, and he's like lap swim thing down. I also love that we always say the IOUs, and then I also like the girl. He's like, "What do you say a girl like me and a guy like you end up getting together?" And she goes, "Say the chances are like 1 in a million." And then he finds out later that she's married, and he goes, "What's all this 1 in a million?"
Shit.
Yeah, it's so good.
That's fucking hilarious. So you guys are Nashville based.
Yes.
Do you live right in Nashville or are you outside?
We're on the outskirts, just a little bit.
Yeah, we're technically in Old Hickory.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we can get downtown in like 25 minutes.
Unless traffic's there.
Like, we're kind of a chill area.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
That's cool. I used to live in Brentwood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was way back when. Like 30 fucking years ago.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Yeah. I'm old. Holy shit.
Nah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we're all getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a conversation with a guy today. He was like, "You all right?" I'm like, "No, I got fucking hip problems, dude. Like, I'm at that age now. Like, I gotta sit down." And he was the one walking with a cane. Oh my gosh. Oh shit. Okay. Josh, Felicia, I'm not going to keep you both all night. I appreciate your time. I've had a lot of fun chatting with you. I can't wait for the next record.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. We've had a blast too. It's always good to nerd out about music and movies and just stuff.
Yeah. That fucking, when you can nerd out with someone about like something specific, like, "Oh, dude, this vinyl was like this color and they got the coin." Like, holy shit, I'm not just a nerd by myself.
Exactly.
I was going to say, too, did you see the wax mage of the live album we put out? Like, those turned out pretty cool.
So, did you guys just put a video out of that like yesterday or a couple of days ago?
That was just a regular pressing.
So that's one of the regular pressings. But the regular pressings are wild, too, because they're all random colors. So, like, each one's... It's pretty crazy. But those turned out really cool. Because we still have... I was going to say, last year, we put out the live album, and we put out a 45. And the 45 was kind of cool, because it was two songs that we had written. We had one song we wrote back in, like, 2016, and we recorded it with James... during like the Keep on Fighting, and the song just didn't fit on the album, and it was definitely more like straight up soul kind of song. But with the 45, we were like, "Oh, this would be cool to put out as a 45 because we've had that song for so long." And but yeah, we put out that and the live album, and both are on random colored vinyl, and they look really cool. And then the wax mages of both of those, I think we have like 1 or 2 left like on our store, but the colors really pop on them and they look really neat. It's been cool seeing how those have done. But yeah, the post we made the other day was of the random. That was actually our own copy. I think.
That we kept for ourselves.
Oh yeah. Well, and I like when they do the random color too, because you're like, obviously I like what I know what I'm getting.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But there are those times where I'm like, fuck it, roll the dice. What's gonna happen? You know, and you get something, you're like, "Oh, that's so freaking cool."
Right. Yeah, we've seen like there's definitely been some that are like we've had like multiple greens and multiple blues and stuff, but then we'll pull one out and it'll be like half green, half blue, and it'll be like, oh, like one person gets the one off, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, cool. So
yeah, that's super cool. So you guys have to come back to Louisville soon.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely.
We would love to. Yeah.
There is find that amplified.
Yeah, the record shop.
Yeah, I think she's going to answer more probably on Facebook than Instagram.
Okay.
But like all of the records that she stocks, she doesn't want any like major label stuff. It's all like DIY and independent stuff. So
That's super cool.
it might be,
Yeah,
it might be an avenue
definitely
to you
hit
guys
them
have
up.
some stock. Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely look. It's amplified.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, that sounds right up our alley for sure.
Yeah. She's super, super cool and does, I don't know. I think she just opened 4 months ago, I guess.
Oh, nice. So new
And
shop.
yeah, building it from like nothing. And I think she said the other day she was at 100 different bands in the store.
That's awesome.
Well,
It's just a little tiny place, but it's really fucking cool.
That's super cool.
Yeah, that's good to know. Thank you.
Hell yeah, you're welcome. That's what we got to do. We got to help each other out.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, you guys go. Have a great night, and hopefully I get to see you soon.
Yes,
Thank you.
definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a good one.
having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
Thanks. See ya.